Hi, I'm Scott Johnson. I'm a financial advisor.
What is a financial advisor? What does that mean?
Well, what I do for a living is I sit down with people and I help them figure out what their financial goals are. That sounds easy, but there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, and typically I'm dealing with people's retirement money. So retirement money is a very different thing because of the way it's taxed and not taxed. So I try to help people long term save up money for their retirement. It's not always retirement. Sometimes they want to, build a house in Hawaii. Well, that's a specific goal, so we have to figure out how we're going to get there. Usually that's by investing money. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just keeping money in savings.
Okay.
So I really am a consultant to help people figure out how to save money long term.
So how do you become a financial advisor?
Well, you have to have certain licenses in
Okay.
order to invest money. There is a thing called FINRA. It is a federal agency that looks over every financial transaction in the United States of America, even small ones. So you have to become licensed in order to sell investments to the public. The way you become licensed is you study and then you take a series of exams. But you don't have to have a college degree. I happen to have one, but it's not in finance. It's in something completely different. So I run into lots of people who maybe are hesitant to go to college, or it's not the right path for them, but they like the world of finance and they understand it. And so this is a great career if you want to do something like that without a degree.
So if I came to you on my first visit and I'm seeking financial advice, what would that first visit look like?
Typically, we would sit down, and of course, there's always a bit of relationship building. So we might talk about your life and my life and how we intersect in different ways. But then we start talking about what your goals are, what your financial goals are. That's a very important part of the puzzle, obviously. And then we talk about where you're at today and how we're going to get to where you want to be. So it's really just a conversation between people. Sometimes it's a whole family in here. Sometimes it's just one-on-one. So it's really just a conversation about where you are today and where you want to be in the future.
Now, does this job require you to know math really well? A lot of students are saying to their teachers, why do I have to do this math? I'm never going to use it. Is that something you would use in this career?
I use it daily. And I'll be honest, I was a terrible math student and really not a great student overall.
Okay.
But all of those things that I learned in my early years going to school now apply all the time. Obviously, when I'm calculating money, such as a conversation like this, I have to kind of know those numbers in my head. I use software as well.
Sure is helpful.
For more complicated situations. We have software packages that help us figure things out. But general math is very important in life and certainly in this career.
Okay, did you guys hear that? General math
Study
is
math.
Still very important.
Very important.
And you don't necessarily have to be good at it while you're in high school, but be willing to learn
Sure.
and know those
Things for
concepts.
me that I use constantly are percentages,
Okay.
fractions, decimal points, all those things that
Yes.
deal with money and especially the growth of money over time with interest, very important. And that's pretty basic math stuff.
Yeah, good.
I'm certainly not doing a lot of calculus, but it is important to know.
I also heard that you were a respiratory therapist.
I was.
Also, could you tell us about that?
Yes, actually, coming out of high school, I was really unsure of what I wanted to do. So I decided to join the military. And I was in the military for 3 years over in Germany. And then I came home and I realized all my friends were already going to school and I felt like I was a little behind. So I needed to find a career. So I went to Boise State and I found the respiratory therapy program. I was interested in medicine, although I didn't have much experience in it. I quickly learned that it was a great career with lots of opportunities. And I was a respiratory therapist for 12 years, working a lot in the intensive care unit and the emergency room.
Oh, okay.
Very, very great career. I highly recommend medical for any young student.
So what made you transition to financial advisor? How did that happen?
As I matured and kind of started to realize that I was in love with the idea of being an entrepreneur, doing something on my own, having my stamp on something. A respiratory therapist is a great job. I enjoyed it. I had lots of great friends. It was very rewarding. But after a while, I realized that I was yearning for something different. So I got introduced into medical sales because I already had a medical career.
Okay.
I went into medical sales. And medical sales was fun, challenging, interesting. It was lucrative financially. The downside is I was gone a lot on an airplane every Monday. So that became tiresome. So then I started looking for another career, and that's when I found financial advising.
So it wasn't a waste of time.
Not
It
at all.
actually showed you a way to a new job, a new career
Yes.
afterwards.
Yes.
Okay.
And what I found, so I guess you could say I've had 3 careers: respiratory therapist, medical sales, and now financial planner. And though those don't sound like they're on the same line
Right.
together, there's so much overlap, because as a medical salesperson, I had to be able to talk to people, I had to present ideas, I had to deal with challenges, and that's very similar to what I do now. It's just a different thing, different product, if you want to think of it that way.
Yeah.
But all of that, and definitely my respiratory therapy career, gave me confidence, taught me skills, taught me how to relate to people, how to deal with situations. So it's really all has kind of come to this in different ways.
Yeah, you probably didn't imagine where you'd be at today back when you were graduating from high school.
I
and
certainly
going,
did not. I
yeah.
certainly did
And
not.
did you know what you wanted to do coming out of high school?
I
when
didn't.
you-
I had actually no idea. To be
Okay.
very honest, I had no idea.
So there's still time.
Absolutely. I was not a great student. I was a kind of a C student. Yeah, coming out of high school, I really had no idea. And I think it's important for people to understand that you don't have to be focused on one thing today. You have to, if you're going to go to school, then you just take baby steps and start. And as you go down that path, the road will take you where it takes you.
Right.
I highly recommend college, but it's not for everyone. I also believe in trade schools. I have very successful clients that are electricians and bricklayers and people with construction backgrounds. So there's a lot of different careers.
Yeah.
But the point is, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. You have to
Just
move
take
forward and
steps.
take one step at a
Yes.
time. Yeah. So if one of my high school students came to you, what would be your first advice for them? Financial advice. What would financial advice?
The most important thing for young people to understand about finance is not to borrow money. When you borrow money, you put it on a credit card, or you take out a loan for a car. That's fine. Most of us all do it. But you are paying a bank to borrow that money. And over time, you're paying them more and more and more. A car is not a good example. We all get loans for cars, but credit cards are horrible. Credit cards should only be for emergency, and you should pay them off immediately every month. That will build your credit, and over time you will have a better and better credit score, and that will allow you to buy a house someday. That will allow you to do things that you need or want to do. So take care of your credit, number one.
Okay.
I would also
Good
say,
advice. Good
yeah,
advice.
great advice. I would also say save 10% of everything you make. If you make $1, save 10 cents. If you make $100, save $10. Put that away. Once you get in that habit, you're not going to miss that $10.
Right.
But over time, that money will grow and grow and grow.
Okay, last question. Do you have a life motto or a mantra that you live by?
I do, and that is to live life positive. Feel good, work hard, do the right things. That's easier said than done, but if you wake up every day and you're ready to hit it and you do the best you can that day, then you've accomplished something. And if you can keep repeating that over and over again, you will be successful in whatever it is you're doing. You will be successful.
I like that. that's good words of advice for us today of just that positivity, especially when you go to work every day. You don't always feel like going to work.
Absolutely not. I
So
didn't
we-
feel like it today, but I'm here.
But he's here, and that's been a huge help for us too, of just not only learning about what it means to be a financial advisor, but to keep the confidence and hope that
Sure.
there's a job out there for everyone. There's a career out there, and sometimes it takes a little exploration. We don't always know right away.
That's
So,
certainly true. It's certainly true in my case.
yeah. So thanks so much for your
You're
time.
very welcome.
And thank you, students. Stay positive out there.
So to get to that goal, we have to have a path. We have to have a plan. So typically, I'm going to want you to start putting money in, and we're going to watch that money grow. And along that path, we might make changes. We may reinvest. We may take some out of the market and put it into savings. Every year, we're going to sit down and reassess that.